Hey guys, it's Jimmy, and today we're going to do a recap on our plays recently and how we did puts today and analyzed the 501. So let's get started. Let's get right ahead. Jump right into it. So yesterday and a couple days before that, we've experienced that CPI dump, and obviously after CPI, it usually wants to come up to equalize the market. That's just the narrative of it. And when you see this wick try to break this trend line, but it can't break that trend line, like he's just going up, of course we're going to see the next top of the trend line, and so that's what's happening now. So that's the 4 hour. That's what we're looking at, the 4 hour. Of course, you have to zoom out, then zoom in, and check for all time frames. So we see that it bounced yesterday, changed of structure, and then ran up yesterday. So 501 seems like the perfect target for the run up, especially on these lows here. And the reason why we played puts today, because there was a lot of resistance up here. If you do some a little extra charting, there's a lot of resistance. So we took puts here, took about 30% on those, and then we took puts here, and then took 100% on these overall. However, it was a slow move, so there's an imminent bounce. I took a lot of calls on after my price target here, hit my price target here. We took it all out on there, and then it went all the way up to 501. And the reason why I say 501 is because the day before we were trying to recover all the way to 498, and we had an implied move about $3, especially with this price action here. And you can see that it's dumping right now, but 501 was already hit. There's just a lot of liquidity right here. That's why 501 is a target. So how do we determine to take this trade? Pre-market high, and with the intuition, with experience, you just gotta know, like, okay, it looks great to come down a little bit further here so that it can run up. It has to move down a little bit more so it can run up after. That's just a narrative for today. That doesn't mean it always happens. That's just a narrative for today. It wants to run down to previous market close, the opening range gap, and the previous day high. It wants to run to the previous day high so that it can bounce off of it and move further. It usually moves to the previous day high or the opening range gap so it can make a move higher. Let's say it was down here. It wants to make a move to the previous day low or the previous day high, then make a move higher or lower depending on the trend. You gotta read the narrative on that one. Additionally, it kept going up, it kept climbing up, but the reason why I had to stop out, especially because the drawdown was only about 20% or so, was because we were looking at BXY and it just looked like a huge fake out. So I'm looking at the 4 hours right now, and these were the couple lines I drew. There was so much weakness in all the other stocks like Apple, Nvidia. There's so much weakness, yet nothing is going down. So what happened there? You can see there's a bit of divergence, and you can keep zooming in to check on that. Let's just draw it out for a bit. And so what we were waiting on was the bounce off of the XY, because they usually move in inverse with each other. So as this was moving down, this was climbing upwards, but I anticipated a bounce on the XY, and when the bounce came, then it moved up, then SPY moved down subsequently. Same thing that's happening here. There's a little bit of divergence. It's coming back up, but there was more reason for it to go down. For SPY to go down right here. And this gives reason for SPY to go up, because it's coming to retest. And so when it retests and breaks, the XY will go down, SPY will go up, and boom, there you have it. Let's do a little bit of recap on Tesla predictability. So Tesla, we're going to break down Tesla, what happened with Tesla, and why it's so predictable in the past few days. So someone asked me about Tesla, and then by Monday this week, it was incredibly predictable. So once Tesla starts doing this type of price action, it becomes predictable. So you have to really read the market in this term. And you can't really use the algorithm because, well, Tesla's its own animal. Right here, it usually makes these highs like this, makes a tiny bit of a double top, breaks this trend, and then continues on for continuation. So it makes a trend line, either a double top or a double bottom, and then it continues on for continuation. So that would have been a big play there if you took puts for continuation. Throughout the whole day, there was just continuation. Same thing happened on Tuesday. You can see here. If you can spot it first, right here. It makes a trend line, breaks, and then continues down to the low of the day. You see where that happens there? Now, on Wednesday, it's also been incredibly predictable. Just like we can do it to the downside, we can do the upside as well. Breaks the first few trends, and then continue on upwards. Upwards. Now, the day here is a little odd because it doesn't do it. Now, instead of it, now it breaks and then comes back up. And why is that? Well, you have to read the narrative. Everything's about narrative. If you read the narrative, then you would know that Tesla came up with good news, and now they're pumping into the 200s again. All right. Hope you guys enjoyed that recap. We'll post.